First contact deception. The Galactic Alliance survey vessel, Interminable Curiosity, slipped into orbit around the blue-green world, its scanning arrays quietly mapping the third planet of this unremarkable yellow star. Captain Solara Voss, a tall, crystalline being whose translucent skin refracted light in prismatic patterns, studied the preliminary reports with growing interest. Primitive technological civilization detected, announced Science Officer Dren, his 6 tentacles manipulating the control console with practiced precision. His species, the Octavian Collective, provided the Alliance with their finest scientific minds. Carbon-based bipedal lifeforms, approximately 8 billion individuals. Technology level, pre-interstellar. They've barely touched their moon and sent rudimentary probes to neighboring planets. Captain Voss's crystalline features shifted into what passed for a smile among the prismalites. Perfect. The Council will be pleased. Another developing species to bring into the fold. Prepare first contact protocols. The Alliance had spent millennia perfecting the art of first contact. Young civilizations were invariably awed by the sudden appearance of advanced starships and the revelation that they weren't alone in the cosmos. Some reacted with fear, others with religious fervor, but all eventually accepted the Alliance's benevolent guidance and the trade agreements that invariably followed. Curious, muttered Dren, his skin shifting to a troubled purple. Their communication networks are primitive, but extensive, and their energy usage patterns are inconsistent with their apparent technology level. Inconsistent how? Asked Voss, mandibles clicking with impatience. They're using fusion power, but inefficiently, and their space presence is minimal despite having the capability for more. It's as if. Dren paused, puzzled. It's as if they're deliberately underutilizing their potential. Voss dismissed the concern with a wave of her crystalline appendage. Many young species develop technology unevenly. Dispatch the welcome probe. The sleek diplomatic probe detached from the Interminable Curiosity and descended toward the planet's largest governmental complex, a sprawling building in a city the natives called Geneva. The probe broadcasted the standard greeting, a series of mathematical sequences followed by simple pictographic messages of peace. As it approached, what happened next would forever change the galaxy's understanding of its own history. Instead of the expected panic or wonder, the probe was met by a shimmering energy field that enveloped it completely. The field contracted, and the probe simply vanished. Contact lost with the welcome probe, reported Communications Officer Telex, her feathered crest rising in alarm. Unknown technology detected. Before Captain Voss could respond, the ship's sensors screamed warnings. Massive energy signatures erupted across the planet's surface. What had appeared to be mundane structures were transforming, mechanical components shifting and reorganizing. Enormous platforms rose from the oceans. Mountain ranges split open to reveal vast hangars housing sleek vessels. Impossible, whispered Dren, his tentacles trembling. The planet is awakening. The view screen flickered to life without their input. A human face appeared, a female with dark skin and silver-streaked hair. She wore a simple blue uniform with no obvious rank insignia. Greetings, Alliance vessel, she said in perfect galactic standard. I am Admiral Helena Chen, Earth Defense Command. Your probe has been safely contained. We apologize for the deception, but we find it prudent to assess new arrivals before revealing our true nature. Captain Voss stared in shock. You speak our language. You know of the Alliance. Admiral Chen's expression remained neutral. We've been monitoring Alliance communications for several centuries. Your expansion patterns suggested you would reach our system approximately now. But your technology, sputtered Dren. Our scans showed what we wanted them to show, interrupted Chen. Earth maintains a planetary-scale camouflage system. We find it useful to appear less advanced than we are. Voss's crystalline form darkened with suspicion. Why would an advanced civilization hide its capabilities, unless you harbor hostile intent toward the Alliance? Chen's expression softened slightly. Not hostility, Captain. Caution. Humanity has learned through bitter experience that revealing technological superiority often leads to conflict. We preferred to observe your alliance before making ourselves known. Observe us? Voss's indignation was palpable. The Galactic Alliance spans 3,000 worlds across 7 spiral arms. We've been the predominant civilization in this galaxy for over 4,000 years. For the first time, Admiral Chen smiled. Yes, 4,000 years is indeed impressive. Something in her tone made Voss's crystalline heart flutter. You imply. We would be honored if you and your senior staff would join us on Earth, Chen continued. There are some historical records you might find. Illuminating. 24 hours later, Captain Voss and her command team stood in a vast underground chamber beneath the Alps. The facility, which humans called the Ancestral Archive, stretched for kilometers in every direction. Holographic displays flickered between ancient artifacts preserved in stasis fields. This can't be real, whispered Dren, his skin cycling through colors of disbelief. These artifacts, some appear to be over 10,000 years old. Admiral Chen nodded. Humanity achieved interstellar flight 12,537 years ago, by your calendar. We had established colonies on 300 worlds before the first founding species of your alliance achieved rudimentary spaceflight. Impossible, Voss protested. The historical record shows no evidence of an advanced human empire. That was by design, explained Chen, leading them to a central platform. Computer, display the scattering protocol. A holographic representation appeared, countless ships fleeing from a central point, dispersing across the galaxy. 15,000 years ago, humanity encountered something in the dark between galaxies, Chen explained, her voice solemn. We still don't fully understand what it was, but it was drawn to concentrated technological signatures. Entire systems were consumed. We realized that our only chance for survival was to scatter and hide, to become invisible. You abandoned your empire, asked Security Chief Grok, a hulking reptilian whose scales bristled with skepticism. We preserved our species, corrected Chen. We established hidden outposts, camouflaged our technology, and erased evidence of our existence. Earth itself was returned to a pre-industrial state and allowed to develop naturally while maintaining a hidden technological core. Voss's crystalline structure vibrated with confusion. But why reveal yourselves now? What changed? Admiral Chen's expression became grim. Because the darkness is returning. And this time, the galaxy will need to stand united. The ancestral revelation. Dawn broke over Earth's Geneva complex, golden light spilling across architecture that seamlessly blended the ancient with the impossibly advanced. The Alliance delegation had spent the night in luxurious quarters that adjusted perfectly to their vastly different physiological needs, a subtle demonstration of how thoroughly humanity had studied their visitors. Captain Voss stood at the window, her crystalline form capturing the sunlight and casting rainbow patterns across the room. She had not rested. The revelations of the previous day had shattered everything she believed about galactic history. The Council must be informed, she said as her officers gathered. They won't believe us, responded Security Chief Grok, his reptilian scales shifting uncomfortably. Not without proof. Proof we intend to provide, said Admiral Chen, entering without announcement. If you'll follow me. The human led them through corridors that seemed to phase between classical stone architecture and hyper-advanced materials that rippled like water. They descended into the deeper levels of the complex where a circular chamber awaited them. At its center stood a simple pedestal supporting what appeared to be an ancient weathered book. The first record, Chen explained, reverence in her voice. Written by hand on actual paper, a technology we maintain for its permanence. Digital records can be manipulated, quantum states altered. But this, she gestured to the book. This has remained unchanged for 15 millennia. Dren approached cautiously, his tentacles hovering over the open pages. These symbols. The original human language, said Chen. before we fragmented our communication to appear as naturally evolving civilizations. A human technician activated a device that projected the translated text into the air above the book. Year 3 of the scattering. The great ships have departed, carrying our people to the far reaches. Earth remains as both cradle and guardian. We have seeded 47 worlds with modified genetic material, carefully calibrated to evolve into sentient species over millennia. They will emerge believing themselves native to their worlds, with no memory of their human origins. This is our legacy and our shield, a galaxy of diversity that will hide our presence from the darkness between. "This can't be real," whispered Voss. "You're claiming that Alliance species." "Not all," Chen clarified. "Many evolved naturally. But yes, several founding members of your alliance were originally engineered from human genetic material, modified to adapt to their respective worlds." The revelation struck the alliance officers like a physical blow. Grok stumbled backward, his reptilian features contorted in shock. "You're saying we're descended from humans?" "In a sense," Chen replied gently. "Though after 15,000 years of natural evolution, you're a unique species in your own right. The prismalates, for instance," she nodded toward Voss, "began as human colonists on a world rich in crystalline formations. Over generations, we incorporated those elements into our biology through genetic engineering. Eventually, we withdrew the original human population, leaving behind a newly independent species with no memory of their origins." "But why?" demanded Voss, her crystalline form vibrating with emotion. "Why engineer new species only to abandon them?" Admiral Chen's expression softened. "Not abandonment. Protection." The darkness was drawn to concentrated human technological signatures. By diversifying life throughout the galaxy, creating various technological paths and biological adaptations, we ensured that if the darkness returned, it wouldn't recognize the connection. Life would survive, even if in forms different from the original human template. The group moved deeper into the facility, passing through security fields that analyzed their quantum signatures. They entered a vast chamber where a three-dimensional star map glowed, showing thousands of worlds connected by pulsing lines. "The Registry of Worlds," explained Chen. "Every planet where humanity established a presence or seeded evolutionary potential. Many died out. Others thrived beyond our expectations." Dren studied the map with growing comprehension. "The Alliance's expansion, our exploration patterns, were subtly guided," Chen acknowledged. "We've maintained hidden observers on every major world, not controlling, merely nudging when necessary to prevent catastrophic paths. You've been manipulating us for thousands of years." Grok's claws extended reflexively. "Protecting you," corrected Jin. "Guiding the galaxy toward cooperation rather than conquest. The darkness feeds on conflict and technological warfare. Peace and biological diversity are our best defenses." Captain Voss approached the map, her crystalline structure reflecting the countless stars. "If what you're saying is true, why reveal yourselves now, after all this time?" Admiral Chen's expression darkened. She gestured, and the map transformed, showing the approaching void at the galaxy's edge, a spreading emptiness where stars simply ceased to exist. "Because it's returning sooner than we projected. The darkness has detected the technological bloom of the Alliance. Your unified systems, standardized technologies, they create a signature similar to what attracted it millennia ago." "How do we fight something that consumes stars?" whispered Telix, her feathers flattening against her body in primal fear. "Not through conventional warfare," Chen replied. "Our ancestors tried that and failed. But in our time hidden among the stars, we've developed new approaches, biological, technological, and dimensional strategies that might succeed where brute force failed." She turned to face the Alliance delegation directly. "We need the Alliance, with its vast resources and diverse member species. And you need us, the accumulated knowledge of humanity's 15,000 years of hiding and watching." "The Council will resist," said Voss. "They'll see this as a threat to Alliance authority." Then they must see the evidence for themselves, Chen replied. She handed Captain Voss a small crystalline device. This contains verified historical records, genetic analyses confirming our claims, and astronomical data tracking the darkness's approach. We ask that you return to the Alliance with this information. Grok snorted. You trust us to simply deliver your message. We could destroy this evidence, warn the Alliance to prepare for war against Earth instead. Admiral Chen smiled sadly. You won't, because deep in your genetic memory, there remains an echo of humanity. And because the alternative, facing the darkness divided, means extinction for us all. Captain Voss studied the device in her crystalline appendage. Everything she believed about her civilization's place in the galaxy had been appended. Yet something in the human's words resonated with a truth she couldn't deny. I will deliver your message, she said finally. But I cannot promise how the Council will respond. We don't ask for promises, said Chen. Only for the chance to stand together against what comes. Humanity has hidden long enough. It's time for the children of Earth, both direct and engineered, to reunite as a family. As the Alliance delegation prepared to depart, Captain Voss took one last look at Earth, the ancient homeworld that had seeded the stars with life when the galaxy was young. The truth would shake the foundations of the Alliance, but perhaps that was necessary. The comfortable myths of their supremacy had left them blind to the approaching threat. We will return, she promised Admiral Chen. Whether as allies or adversaries will depend on the wisdom of the Council. Chen nodded. And we will be waiting, Captain. As we have always been waiting, through the long millennia. The parents of the galaxy, hoping their children have grown wise enough to recognize the truth when they see it. The Alliance vessel departed Earth orbit, carrying a truth older than their civilization, and a warning of darkness to come. Below, humanity's hidden empire prepared to step fully into the light after 15,000 years of shadows. The next chapter of galactic history was about to begin.